Hello, everybody, and welcome to your Tuesday lighting critique. Today we're joined with Kat, who's already claimed because she's going to monopolize my time. But first off, we're going to take a look at Gloria's animation before moving over into the still images. So, Gloria, these are good updates. Some of the things that we were looking at were adding some halos around the trees, reflections in the pond, reflections in the glasses. And some other little adjustments there. So the reflections are good. It is funny. So glass reflection is so difficult because you're obscuring the character's eyes, and that's our connection to that character. So, because what's happening is in a couple of these frames, there seems to be some, like, because of the way he's moving his head, it kind of makes things whoosh by. And it also doesn't give us a sense of what we're reflecting. Like we're not seeing like the owl or anything like that in the reflection. So I would tone them down just a little bit, but I think their existence is very good. The halos around the lights look good. They're a little tight. Like they're a little bit. They feel like a sphere or they feel like a circle. I would just kind of soften the edges a little bit. Additionally, I love the specular highlights on the character's skin. I think the turtle skin looks really good from that. I'm just wondering if we couldn't get if you could like push the bump, displacement, normal map, or whatever is driving that, just like a little bit more, just so we can get a little bit more ridge and a little more bump out of them. I think the trees look great in this shot. I think so. One of the things I was thinking with this is I actually think we can go a little darker in the sky back here. And I think that'll help push it back into space and pull this character forward a little bit more.
Would it be on the eyes? Would it be easier somehow? I don't know if it would work or look right to maybe make his eyes a bit more reflective, so the actual eye reflects the owl, and maybe that would pop up instead of doing it on the glasses.
You know what? I think it would be too distracting in either scenario. To actually
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
It's a good thought. Yeah, we had months of R&D when we were doing a film with a character with glasses, and it's very tricky. The one thing I was looking at here was I'm wondering if like this might be because it's a tough character because the chest is white and the face is a little bit darker with some more complex shapes. I'm just wondering, trying to see if we can get more of this light up here, but I think it's okay. I think it's good. Yeah, I take that back. I was going to see if there's some way of pushing some more light up there. I'm not sure if that's possible or not. And then in terms of this character, the only thing, like, and I know that you're doing this all in Unreal, but I just want to take him in Nuke or something, and I just want to boost his gain like 10 or 20%. So if you can make him just like a little bit brighter too, that would be rad. Like just kind of overall, just kind of lift him up. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, Unreal's got post-processing on it. It doesn't have a compositor per se, but maybe she can do something in the post-process setup.
That could work. But it's looking great. This is looking really good. Do you have any other thoughts, Kat?
No, the only other thing I could think maybe to make the turtle stand out is to just change either the green of the plants or his green. Because when he walks closer to the owl, he kind of blends. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Maybe like make the trees, maybe make the foliage maybe a little bit more autumnal or something, or just give it a slightly different color.
I think it's more about making sure that the leaves read as kind of a blue-green because they're getting more of the night, and then he's more like a yellow-green. And kind of like really hitting those tones down. So that's really good.
It's not so much from this angle, but it's the other angle when he's looking up at the owl, when the camera's looking at the owl.
Yeah, we're getting because we're getting more of the. That's right, because we're getting more of the moonlight there. That kind of matches up with that. Yeah, it's a fair point. All right, cool. All right, let's hop into. Okay, Kat, we'll take a look at yours. So we got you here. So we've got your two previous versions. Actually, let me.
Yeah, those are the new ones.
This is the new one.
No, that's the old one.
Yes, that's the new one,
The
right?
one with no blue is the new one, yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so old one, new one, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Yes.
Cool.
So I have so many questions. Basically, what I did to try to make it look brighter, I guess, overall, was I kind of just put a couple spotlights kind of with uh, wide angles to kind of put the light back there.
Mm-hmm.
But I changed the texture. So like on the walls, I put a different texture. It actually has some scratches and stuff.
Yeah.
The floor, you can see in the other shots, has more of like a bumpy texture.
Yeah, you can see it over here.
Yeah, I don't know. So I did Diana was talking about doing the gamma thing where you put the gamma up on the image to see if it all kind of comes up at the same level. And it seems like it does. I mean, I noticed there's places that are still dark.
Yeah. It won't work.
Yeah.
I can't really do it here because it won't work on a JPEG because it's just the JPEG crushes it. But you can see it in the source images for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I mean, does this have better shaping on
the environment
I got
as a
rid
whole?
of
Like just squint your eyes at it, right? And as I go through here,
Right.
like which one centers your focus more on her? Definitely the newer one does that. Because we've taken out some of the side stuff, we've really focused it on her. She's brighter over a darker background. Like it's all kind of centering in on her, and I think that's working really nice. The one thing that I really like that you included was this reference image.
I just found that last night. I was like, yes,
this is
one.
Yeah, this is a little over the top with like the amount of specularity and stuff, and makes it feel very wet. But I love it. I love seeing like these specular highlights in here, and like the way that they're picking up in the ceiling and the floor. That the more of that stuff that you can throw in, I think the better. And like,
do you think the set has better lighting on it? Like it doesn't look so okay.
Yeah, I do. I mean, because it's more there's more variation within it. Where this is like this is kind of it's kind of this idea of, because when you light for a film or even a game. Probably less so for games, but for films, you're like, this is where the action is happening, right? We know because like the characters are in a fixed location with fixed animation, and so therefore like we don't necessarily, we don't need to really light up over here because the character's never going to go over there. But sometimes for like the believability of the thing, like it makes sense to have a whole city illuminated, not just where they are. But you can definitely get away with like just lighting up this inner hallway, and then some of this stuff kind of goes darker so that you can really kind of hit their power alley. And they so I think it functions a lot better of focus in the eye. I love that we're seeing more variation within the specular highlights and less work needing to be done by the diffuse values. But I think it's looking much better. Let's look at this. There was the second previous versus, just doing this together too.
Yeah, I think she blends a bit better too. Like I feel like she's more part of it.
Well, I just think the background is coming together so well with like this little shader on the ground, and that just like the little bits of some more like textural components of things. You can kind of you can feel the metal a little bit more strongly. So I'd say just keep down this path.
Okay, so should I run like a test animation and see how it looks all together, or keep, because I know once you start tweaking stills too much, sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah. I think I would do one more pass at trying to get some more like of these types of reflections, specifically kind of on the floor maybe, and a little bit on the walls, and then I would do another test. Because right now we've got some broad reflections on there, but what we're seeing in here is just some like really tight stuff.
Yeah, that was my other question. So if you go back to that shot, the one you had, the one with the explosion, that one. So like the wall on the right, it's the same texture, and I don't know if it's just because there's no pipes on that wall, it looks flatter. Because I went back and watched some of the other submissions, and it was kind of the same thing where the non-pipe wall was kind of flatter. So should I do so? I mean, because it still has kind of a specky look on it. But should I?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, if you want to add some variation to the color of the pipes or something, just to like make some of them darker or lighter, just to vary it up, that would be cool. But like I wouldn't chase that too much.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Cool beans.
All right. Okay. So we have 2 more submissions. We have Keldon and we have Mercy. So Keldon, we'll start here with you. So this is your updated version versus the previous. So I can put these together too. And so you can see we're tightening up the spec a little bit. We're defining her skin a little bit more. And I think that we could go even further. I would like to pull back. I mean, everything's shaping up nicely. Right now, it's just finding that balance between the skin tone in the diffuse and the spec. And so I pulled in some more reference just to give us a better idea, because this is a big point in animation and filmmaking in general. Has been a real focus the last couple of years on lighting dark skinned characters. And the techniques that have been developed by it are very, and in advertising photography too. And it's this emphasis on the specular values. It's this idea of, and I put in a clip before when we talk about lighting dark skinned characters, which is the cinematographer from Do the Right Thing talking about you need to think about dark skinned characters in terms of moisturizer and not makeup. Lighter skinned characters will often matte the skin and flatten it, and so the diffuse value has to carry a lot of it. With darker skinned characters, you don't want to do that, because what ends up happening is you have to push so much light onto them that it actually changes the base value of their skin tone. It makes them appear much lighter. And actually, I have an example that got that, like something like this with Kamala Harris on this cover of Vogue, that was very controversial because they did that. They did a lot of makeup, and they lifted her skin tone so much to in order to get the shaping in there, and it kind of takes you off the hero color. So what you want to do is you really kind of want to stay even on a darker skin tone character that's not very dark. Even in a lighter tone, you definitely want there to be like these kind of tight specular highlights in some of these areas in order to really kind of push that value. So going back to yours, I think we can pull back just a touch on the diffuse value to maintain that darker tone, and then sprinkle in some tighter, brighter specular highlights. Again, think the cheekbone, across the nose, forehead, maybe on the lips a little bit too, to really get those values of just like moisturizer, not makeup, when you're dealing with darker skin characters. So some areas that I think that could benefit from, and a good way to do this would be, if it was me, I would take the character as we have it now, render it out with a slight like 10% darkening of the diffuse value, and then I would render a totally separate pass of the character's skin with a material on it with a little bit of a bump, but a much tighter reflection on it, like something again that'll give you an output like this. And then I would take them into the comp, and I would plus that specular highlight, that specular pass over top of the other one, because that'll allow you to kind of paint it in artistically in certain areas, which is what you do in photo shoots a lot too. So it would allow me to have a pass with a higher specular area, and in the areas that I would really focus in on, again, across the nose, getting some more definition in this cheek area over here, and then a little bit more across the forehead. Those would be the three big areas that I would focus in on. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions about how to set that up, let me know. All right, last up we have Mercy, and Mercy brings up a really great point in her post talking about viewing things on different screens, which is definitely an issue. This idea that sometimes your home monitor will be too saturated or too flat or something. Definitely, if you're ever looking at it like an iPhone screen, that the contrast is way up on those. So that's a really bad opportunity to do any sort of color correcting work. So it is important to look on multiple monitors just to make sure that you're just as like a little sanity check for you. Okay, so previous version update. Update is looking a lot better. Like you can see, just like looking at the screen left side of her face over here, you can see how much better just pulling back that light back a little bit allows us to find more shaping and find more variation in that key side. I think it looks really good. Flipping the eye dings over to the screen left side helps a lot. I would add a little bit of warm color to those as well, because we've got so much warmth coming in from this carousel. Additionally, I think the lips look better in terms of their value. I still think there could be a little bit of a kick light over here on the screen right side. And similar to what we were talking about with the dark skinned characters too, you can similarly with this lighter skinned character, you can push. I like to do this when I have a lot of light coming from one side and there's a lot of fill value. I will add a light to the fill side that only pushes specularity and no diffuse value. Just because like once you get not a lot of key light hitting an area and it's just a lot of fill light, it gets a little flat. So you just want to add a little specularity in there, a little reflection of a surrounding in there to kind of add a little bit more shaping. And then watch out for a little bit of a dark edge around the outside of this. It looks like there might be an alpha edge, and this comes from layering things together, and it just kind of makes a hard alpha edge on things. You can do a little edge blur, either in Photoshop or in Nuke or whatever you're using to composite this. Oh, excuse me, something caught my throat. But yeah, and then watch out for a little bit of, like this right here on her shoulder is getting very bright. So I would just keep your eye on that and make sure. And that might be a matter of zooming the key light in so it doesn't quite hit the shoulder quite so hard. It could be a matter of taking it down in the comp a little bit. But either way, you don't want that to be quite that bright, because if you kind of squint at the image, my eye is being drawn down here as the brightest element. So I think that's it. Oh, and super bonus points. I was thinking about this too, because like clearly we're at a carousel. This is depending on the story that you want to tell. If we are at a carnival, it would be kind of fun too to add a little reflection of some carnival lights. Like just some like excuse me, swinging lights around. Just like a little reflection in her eye, just to kind of expand the world a little bit. But yeah, this is looking really good. You're making really nice progress on this. Right, so that is all for today. Any last questions, Kat, before we go?
Yeah, just really quick, if you can go back to mine and just check the skin.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that too, because I was looking at it, I'm like, I think she's too specky, but I don't know.
No.
Like,
she's definitely not. Let's see if like we I mean she looks really good here. I think let's look at the
opening.
Yeah, let's look at so I think Diana had really
Yeah.
This one too. That's Sandy's, yeah. So like this type of like skin variation and specular value is good. I don't think she has too much at all. Like you can see that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's too.
Yeah, especially because like in this shot, she's getting all that light from the robot. So
yeah, you can see.
It's gonna be a bit brighter.
See when she comes down. I think we can really see it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like that's really cool. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you very much for joining in, Kat. Like I said, for those on the West Coast, again, I'm sorry for this additional early. I have a very crazy day. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully you can catch a recording, and I will talk to you all very soon. All right. Happy lighting, everybody. Bye.